John Lusky of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Man, I have got a really crazy, cool looking, innovative broadhead to test today. It is the Sabo Carbon Fusion SSD 125. Man, that's a mouthful just to get out there, and it's an eyeful to look at it, and going to be an earful to hear all about it and all of its features. But I saw this, a buddy turned me onto it, and I just thought, man, I got to get a few packs of those, and I ordered a few packs, and man, I'm really eager to put this thing to the test. It's just a crazy looking broadhead. So for the testing, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2025, and for a detailed description of that, please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through all the tests I do and why I do them and so forth. And for the shooting, I'm going to be using my my new Elite Carbon Eon that, man, I'm just loving. The more I shoot it, the more I'm loving it. And also for the flight testing, I'm using my my Killer Instinct LogiX435 crossbow. And for all the shooting, I'm using Bishop archery, arrows, and bolts. All right, let's zoom on in here, go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put this broadhead to the test. Here's a good look at the Sabo Carbon Fusion SSD 125 grain broadhead. And man, this is just a crazy, wicked, cool looking instrument right here. One of my viewers turned me on to them a little while ago, and I thought, man, I got to test that thing. That just looks awesome. So I ordered a couple packs. They only come 2 in a pack, and they're not cheap, but I wanted to test them. So I ordered a couple packs, got them, and am ready to put them to the test. And I'm going to try to explain all the different things. I'm probably going to leave out some of the technologies because there's just so much to it. But let's just start with the materials. First of all, this is an aluminum ferrule. You see like a piece here, and a piece here, all aluminum. And then for the blades, they say they're an industrial plated tool steel. I'm not sure exactly what that means, industrial plated tool steel, or what kind of tool steel it is, but they say it's a tool steel and should be extra durable with that in mind. Then it has this solid carbon fiber rod in the middle. So, man, a mix of tool steel and carbon fiber and aluminum. Oh, and then it's got a plastic little connecting clip down here at the bottom to hold the blades in place. So pretty complicated yet intriguing design. Okay, then in terms of the dimensions, so the cut size is when it's fully opened is 2 3/4 inches of diameter, but you also have this cut on contact 4-blade tip. So if you add that in, the total cut on this is 3.59 inches. That's a lot of cut, 3.59 inches. The length beyond the end of the ferrule, by my measurements, is 2 7/8 inches, okay? Like 2 3/4, I think when you add that clip, 2 7/8 inches. And then the way it works is, upon impact, these blades are forced, this plunger is forced down, these blades are forced out, and they pop through this plastic clip right there, coming to their full cutting diameter. And I'll show it to you right here if I can get it on here. Here's one. So you can see like it's like this, and the blades are held in place by that plastic clip at the bottom, and they slide into a little clip in the aluminum ferrule, but then the plunger goes down and they open up into their full cutting diameter like that. And they're offset too, if you can see that. The blades are offset. They're in different planes, so it's going to make a better wound channel. And they rotate a bit as well. Yeah, they rotate a bit as well in the ferrule, so they can rotate around bone if needed to, and as well as they can slide on the plunger. If one blade hits a hard impact, it can slide back, and the other goes forward. Oh, and the blades are 0.032 inches thick of this industrial plated tool steel, and both the front blades and these main blades are replaceable. Here it is in the fully open position. I removed the clip at the bottom, and that's how the blades will look. Of course, as they face an impact, they're going to bend, they're going to go flex back a little bit like that, and they can freely fold back, and they can spin around this carbon rod as well. Just all kinds of different features there. Now, an additional thing is it comes with this, I think it's aluminum, but this metal, I'll say, piece that you can replace for this plastic piece, and then you can shoot it and keep the blades closed for practice. The blades are still going to experience some dulling as they go through the medium there, but it's nice to be able to shoot the exact head without them being fully deployed. And as for resharpening, you'd want to use a Stay Sharp guide called The Answer. That's one they've recently come out with that is really good for broadheads that otherwise would be really challenging to sharpen. So that's what I would use, the Stay Sharp guide called The Answer. I really look forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. The Sabo got the 10 ring, and you can see the blades didn't open because I had it in practice mode with the metal clip in place. It took 222 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.78 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated 6 inches, and I do want to note that a couple of those inches are just the long, narrow tip and not the blades themselves, and the blades stayed pretty swept back during the entire time in the gel. Here you can see the entrance hole, and man, what a massive cut that is upon impact. I'm not sure why there's the curve to the blades, but you can see that they're offset, and man, that's just a lot of cut. But by the time the blades reach the gel or hit like the back of that initial layer of MDF and rubber foam mat, they were already fairly closed. And then you can see that going into the gel. They're like maybe, I don't know, a third of the way open or so. And then you can also see here that just after passing through the MDF and rubber foam mat, the sliding portion that holds the blades is pretty messed up and broken. And then also the tip got curled even just by that impact. Now, this isn't a durability test. That's coming up, but this is just a penetration test. But it's noteworthy to see that kind of damage even just on this test. It took an additional 43 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.14 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 39 layers, which is a 5.6 on a 10-point scale. But it's also noteworthy to point out that the last couple inches of that penetration is just from that main tip and not the blades themselves. I want to show what happened after the first shot through the MDF. You can see that sliding part of the ferrule that holds the blades in place broke again, just like it did in penetration test 1, and the blades bent as well. I went ahead and shot it a second time into the MDF, and here you can see that the carbon rod broke completely in half. And that's pretty rare to see that happen after just 2 shots into the MDF. So it won't get a third shot into the MDF, and it also won't be able to be shot in the steel plate round. But we will go directly to the concrete with a new head. Here it is after the impact in the center block, and it was definitely one of the more explosive impacts I've seen of any broadhead. I mean, it just basically disintegrated, and it really didn't leave much of a mark in the cinder block either. I mean, usually a head will penetrate pretty deeply into this one. I mean, this one did make a dent in the cinder block, but not very much at all. But the cinder block is not my greatest concern about durability. It's all the other impacts, even in penetration test 1 and then through the MDF. I mean, it's definitely one of the weaker broadheads that I've ever tested in terms of durability. So what'd you think? Hey, let's start with some really good things. First of all, I love innovations. And the more innovations we do with all kinds of different archery gear, whether it be bows or arrows or broadheads, the better. And some iterations and innovations are not going to be as good as others, but they all spur us on towards a greater evolution of the tools of the trade, so to speak. So I applaud any kind of out-of-the-box innovations. And this one certainly has that. So I give it a plus for that. And then in terms of flight, man, it flew exceptionally well. Give it big props for that. Cut size, man, it has a really big cut size. Give it props for that. Penetration was just marginal, and that comes with the cut size. Sharpness was acceptable. It was pretty decent sharpness. But man, the durability was just super lacking. And I hate to say it, but I just kind of look at it, and even the first images I thought, man, that's not going to be very durable. But then I saw some promo videos saying it's one of the most durable broadheads ever made, and I venture to say it's one of the least durable broadheads ever made, unfortunately, at least in my testing. Now, listen, I wouldn't want to be shot with it. I'll give you that. And I can imagine in the right situation, this broadhead could be quite lethal on pretty much any animal that it hits. But man, the durability is really highly questionable, at least in my opinion. But you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if this might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score, as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer just to help you save some money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.